Hello everyone and welcome to this session on Microsoft Excel tips and tricks by Intellipaat. Microsoft Excel is one of the most significant computer programs because of the key role it plays in many sectors. It is the most widely used spreadsheet program in any corporate, classwork, and even personal data organization. One of the fastest ways to learn Excel is to learn some of the basic Excel tips and tricks. In this session, you will learn all the important Excel tips and tricks which will help you master Excel in no time. So let's begin with the session. But before we begin the session, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you'll never miss any update from us.
Let's take a look at our agenda. We have firstly what is Excel, then we'll see the basics of Excel, some functions, and then finally some tips and tricks. So, without any further ado, let's move on to our first agenda, that is what is Excel. So, Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet based data visualization and analysis program that uses formula and functions to store, organize, and track datasets. Marketers, accountants, and data analysts and other professionals utilize Excel. It's a component of the Microsoft Office suite. Google Sheets and Numbers are two alternatives as well. While Excel is best recognized as an accounting program, professionals in any sector, particularly marketers, can benefit from its capabilities and formula because it can track any type of data. It eliminates the need to count cells or copy and paste performance figures for hours on end. Excel usually provides a shortcut or quick workaround to make the progress go faster. With that, let's move on to our next agenda. And we have the basics of Excel. So, moving on from here, we'll have hands on for almost everything. So, firstly, we have how to create a new spreadsheet. Let's see how to do that. To create a new spreadsheet, you have to just go type in Excel, and there you have your new spreadsheet. And you can fill in data as you want it. Like if I can put in serial number here, let's say serial number, we have name and address, what grade is the student in, and so on and so forth. You can put a number of data here, and that's it. Let's get back to our presentation. So, after knowing how to create a new spreadsheet, let's see what is the next basic Excel function we have. Executing basic computations. Okay, let's see what do we have there. So under basic computations, we have adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Let's see how that is done. We'll again quickly move back to our spreadsheet, and here we are. Okay, so here we have a bunch of data. We have a few names here and three subjects: English, math, and science. What if this was a data set that contained thousands and thousands of students? So what you had to do, and you do not have to do this manually. What you need to do is just go to the cell. You need the total of all the marks. So we'll just put an equal to here, and we'll take the cell numbers. So we have 6 in English, that is the cell number B2. So we'll just type B2, put plus sign. Then we have C2, and lastly there's D2. So if we do that and press enter, the sum is automatically done for us. And similarly, all the functions that you want to perform can be done in a similar manner. I've shown you addition here. You can perform subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so this is our sample data. Let's try to do all the actions with this. So let's try to do subtraction. So we'll put equal to here. Let's say I want to see what will we get when we subtract 6 from 22. Very simple. You can do it in your head, but still, if there are bigger numbers, this function of Excel helps a lot. So we'll put the cell number E2, subtract, let's say B2. We get 16. Now, if I want to multiply, let's say 22 and 16, we'll just put equal to here. Cell number E2 and multiply F2. Same goes for division. Say I want to know what is 352 divided by 7. So we'll put equal to G2 divided by C2. There you go. All the basic computations can be performed with ease in Excel, and that is one of the basic tips that I can give you. Now let's go back to our presentation. Now that we have seen how the basic computations are performed, let's see what we have next. We have writing and formatting. That is one of the most basic things in Excel. Let's see. So we are back to our Excel sheet, and I'll perform the basic functions on this data set as only. So as you can see, what writing and formatting means, that putting in data. Okay, let's say I want this total cell to be highlighted. So I can do this. I can even change the color here. See, we have a bunch of options here to format our text, and that is what goes under writing and formatting. So let's move on to our next basic. Next up, we have a very important tool, that is the autofill tool. Let's see how that works. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so what autofill does, it makes it very easy to fill nearby cells with a variety of data that includes numbers, series, formulas, anything. Okay, let me just show you. If I just type in 1, 2, and 3, now I have to do this 100 more times. What I need to do, I just select the 3 and pull it down. I select these 3. As you can see, this is the autofill shortcut. If I just pull this down, it'll just fill the entire column with the numbers. I can keep on continuing and it'll just fill. This also works with a bunch of other things. If I type in Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I selected the 3 and I did this. It'll just fill automatically. It's supposed to be Monday here. Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, that works. If I do this, not typing the whole thing, even then it works. It works with January, February, not typing the whole thing, still it will work. Yeah. And if we type the whole thing, even then it will work. So that's all about autofill. Okay, after autofill, the next basic of Excel, we have adding and removing rows or columns. So let's see how that is done. Okay, so what usually people do is select one row, click on insert. This way, one row will be inserted wherever you want it. But this will be very cumbersome if you have thousands of rows. So, what can be done? See, if we have 100 rows, and in between, we need to add, like, say, 10 rows. So, we can just select the number of rows that we want, right click, click on insert. That way, I had selected 7 rows here, so 7 more rows are then added. If you want to delete a bunch of rows, then just select the number of rows that you want to delete, right click, delete. It'll be back to how it was. Same goes with columns. If I want to add, say, 3 more columns, I just select 3 columns, click on insert. That way, it's added. And say, if I want to delete, let them stay selected, right click, and then delete. So that is it. Let's move back to our presentation. So after adding and removing rows or columns, we have freezing rows or columns. Let's see how that is done. Before we see how to freeze few columns or rows, I want to show you how autofill is a great feature. I have added the first students' scores, and I want to do it for, like, say, 100 more students. I'll just drag this down and see it's done. That's how easy uh, autofill makes our work. Okay, so regarding freezing panes, as you can see, when I'm scrolling down, the top, that is the column headings, they are scrolling, they're going upwards as well. So I might not know what column I'm typing the info in. See, if I'm here, I don't know what subject is it. Is it English, math, or science? For now, we have just 5 rows, 5 columns here. But what if we have, like, say, 10 columns and hundreds and thousands of rows? So it will be a very difficult task for anybody inputting information in this spreadsheet. So there is one feature that Excel has, that it lets you freeze whatever rows and columns you wish to. So what you need to do is just select the row that you need to freeze and go to view. After view, go to the Windows pane. This is the Windows pane, as you can see here. Here you have freeze panes. Okay. So you have to go to the views, and then in the window pane we have freeze panes here. So what we need is that no matter where we are in the spreadsheet, the name and the subjects and the total, it should be visible to us, so that when we are inputting any information in, say, the 200th row, we know what column we are putting the information in. So let's say we'll freeze the top row. So now a top row is frozen. So wherever I go, I'll see what column I am inputting the information in. So that's it for the freezing panes. Let's see what do we have next. Okay, after seeing how to freeze rows or columns, we have sorting the data. Okay, you might come across a list of data that hasn't been organized in any way possible. Perhaps you exported a list of marketing contacts or a collection of blogs. Excel has a feature of sorting that will assist you to alphabetize any list, regardless of the situation. Okay, let's see how to do that. Okay, we are back to our spreadsheet. Let's say we have this list of names, and in this list, as you can see, it's not in alphabetical order for sure. So, to do so, what we need to do is just select the column that we need in an alphabetical order and then go to data. Here we have the option to sort. Okay, so as you can see, this is sorting in an alphabetical order, while this, as you can see, it shows Z to A, that is the reverse alphabetical order. So let's say we want the normal alphabetical order. We just click on it and we get the option to expand the selection, that is, uh, whatever sorting we are doing, should we apply it to other columns as well, or continue with just a single column that we have selected. So we'll go with expand the selections. As you can see, it's sorted, and as per the name list that was sorted, it is applied to all other columns as well. So every student has their own marks next to them, and that way the list is sorted and organized in every way possible. Okay, now let's see how to reverse this thing. So we'll just do the reverse alphabetical order. We just click on it and expand the selection, click on sort, and it's done. As you can see, it's the reverse. And that's it for this sorting function of Excel. Next up, we have functions in Excel. So Excel functions, they basically automate some of the processes that would normally be performed in a formula. So let's see some of the functions that we have here. Firstly, we have the sum function. The sum function adds up a set of cells or numbers automatically. You would enter the starting cell and the last cell with a colon in between to finish the sum. So let's see how that is done. So we are back to our data set. Let's see how the sum function works. Here let's say we want the sum of all this: 7, 8, 6, and 21. Okay, so what we'll do is just put an equals to, put sum, opening bracket. Let's say I want all these done together and not one by one. So I'll just put B2, that is 7, colon, E2. Just press enter. So as you can see, putting colon, what it does is just, it means that all the cells that lies in between B2 and E2, they will all be added together. So you might think that typing this formula might take some time, and then if you have to do it for 100 rows, it will take a long time. But then here we have the autofill feature. So once you've done it for one row, what you can do is just use the autofill, just drag the selected cell, and here you have it. Here you have all the sum that you need to. So that is how the sum function works. Let's see what function do we have next. Okay, next we have the average function. We'll again have a hands-on.
Just a quick info, guys. If you are looking for data analytics course, then we have a good news for you. Intellipaat is providing an advanced certification in data analytics for business, with IIT Madras. The course is of very high quality and very cost effective. The course link is given in the description below. Now, let's continue with the session.
So all these functions and their syntaxes are very similar. Okay, those functions perform different things, but they have the same syntax. Okay, let's say we need to perform average. We'll just put equals to, put average, and I want the average from B2 to F2. So B2 colon and F2 and closing bracket, enter. There we have it. And just like that, we have average of all these numbers. If you have just two rows and you need an average or sum, let's just add one row. Okay. So this is how it was done when I selected a multiple rows. I put colon in between them. So if I need separate numbers and I don't have columns and I just want to put separate numbers, I'll just put equals to here. This is for sum. I'll put say 7, 8 and 9 and 21. Closing bracket, enter. There we have it. So that is how it is done when you want to put separate numbers and not just column names or cell address. So for average also, here we have the if function. Let's try to perform that. So let's see how the if function works. As usual, we'll put the equals to. What we'll see, if the total is greater than 10, then the person has passed, otherwise they have failed. As you can see, only at one place we have a total that is less than 10. So we'll see if the if function returns the correct value or not. So equals to if, opening bracket. So the cell here we're talking about is E2. So if E2 is greater than 10, we'll put comma. We'll give out a message. If it is greater than 10, then print a message. And if it is not, then print another message. So in double quotes, we'll put pass. Else, if that is not true, we'll put fail. And we will press on enter. As you can see, 21 is greater than 10, so we have pass. Just like that, we'll see for rest of the students as well. As you can see, everywhere we got pass, only at one place we got fail. The if function works properly, and we'll move on to our next function. So here we have index. What the index function does is that it returns a value from a range of values. Okay, let's see how that works. So what we need to do is type in index. So index just works with, as you can see, it says array here. So we have to give this function an array. So let's say we make an array from B2 to E2. So we type in B2 to E2. Now we want what is there at the second index of this array. So we just put in 2, closing bracket, enter. As you can see, it gives out 8. That is the first index and second index. So second index has 8 here, and the index function gives out 8. Likely we'll do for the rest of the rows, and we have what is there at the second index of each array. Now moving on, we'll see what do we have next. After the index function, we have COUNTIF, and we'll see how to work with it. So let's see how the COUNTIF function works. Let's say I want to check if any of the students have they gotten the marks 8. Okay, so it is gonna count when the condition is met. So we'll put equals to here and put COUNTIF. We'll give the range. So let's say B2. Let's say from B2 we'll take till E2, and in this we will put, let's say I want to see 8, and I'll click on enter, and it gives 1. That means the condition is met and it's true. We'll see that with the same for other rows as well. We'll just do this, and as you can see, the student has received 8 in English, so we have a 1 here. Wherever you see a 0, that means the students did not receive any 8 marks in any of the subjects. So that's it for this functions section of this video. Let's see what do we have next. So now that we have seen the functions in Excel, we'll move on to our next agenda. That is some tips and tricks. So the first tip that we have here, how to add more than one row or column. Let's see how to do that. I've shown this before, but let's see that if we want to add, let's say 4 rows here. So we'll select 4 rows, click on insert, right click and insert, and 4 rows are added. Same goes with columns. So if I want to add 2 more columns on the left, so we'll select 2 columns, right click, insert, and there you go. So now let's move on to our next point in the tips and tricks. Next we have using filters to simplify the data. Let's try to do that in our data set. So let's try and put a filter in this column. So first we'll select the column and we need to go to data. And here you can see we have the option of filter. So when we click on filter, you get this arrowhead here. When we click on it, it has all sorts of filters. So let's say I don't have 10 rows but 100 rows here. So I just want to see the marks and I want to see whether a student named Eric, whether that person has passed or failed. So here in the search bar, we'll just type Eric and press enter. So as you can see, all the details about Eric have come here. So this is how the filter option works. Let's go ahead and see what do we have next. So next up we have removing duplicate data points or data sets. Okay, let's see how the removing duplicate function works. Let's say I want to remove the duplicates from this column. You need to go to data and then you have here in the data tools section, remove duplicates. It will ask you to expand the selection or continue with the current selection. Let's just go with the continue with the current selection and remove duplicates. As you can see, we have selected only one column. We'll go ahead and then it displays a number of duplicates it found and removed. You just click on OK and we have removed the duplicates from this column. This is how it works. Let's see what do we have next. And next up we have transposing rows into columns. So let's see how to transpose this particular table that we have here. So the very first step that we need to do here is select this whole thing and copy it. As you can see, we have 10 rows and 10 columns. We'll select a similar space down here. So that's 10 rows and 10 columns. When we right click here, we have a bunch of options here. And you can see we have a thing called paste special. When we go into this option, there's an option of transpose. If you just click on it, this is how the table is now. For columns, we have the students' names, and for different row headers, we have English, Math, Science. All that we had here as the column headings, we have here as row headings. So that is how you transpose a table. Let's now move to our next item in the list. So after transposing, we have splitting up text information between columns. Let's see how to do that. So now we'll see how to split information that is given in a column. So I have added the surnames for these students and let's try to split up this entire name into first name and the last name. Okay, so first what we need to do is select the entire column that we need to split up. Then go to data and in data we have text to columns. But before we do that, we know that this column is going to split up into 2 other columns. So let's add 2 more columns here. I click insert. 2 more columns are here. So let's do this first name and we have last name. So now that it's added, we'll select this row, go to text to columns. Make sure that the delimited option is selected. Here we have a preview. We'll click on next and here as you can see there are no commas here, but if you want you can go ahead and select any of these options. Here in all the names we have space as the delimiter, so we'll just go ahead with it. Click on next. And now where do we want to paste this information. So we'll select the rows, click on this arrowhead, and we'll just select these two entire rows here and just click on finish. And there you go. We have the first name and last name separated, and that is how you split up information that is given in a column. So we'll move on to our next topic. Next up, we have using conditional formatting. Okay, let's see how do we do conditional formatting. So let's say we have only one fail here, but let's say I want all the students that I've passed to show that in green so that it is easier for me. And I will want to see that the fail option is in red. So what do we do is we select the column in which we need some conditional formatting, and in your home option we have conditional formatting right here. So if we just click on it and we have highlight cell rules, let's select equal to. Okay, so when it is pass, I want it in, let's say I want a dark green color. I don't have the option here, so I'll just go to custom format and click on fill. Here I have the option of green. I'll just go with this, and this is done. And I also want one more formatting, that the fail should be in red. Instead of doing that manually, I'll just type here fail, and I want a red color. There you go. You have your pass and fail right here. You can apply this, maybe you have thousands of rows, thousands of students, and you can just select this, apply conditional formatting, apply a filter to see who's passed and who's failed. So we'll go ahead and see what do we have next. So after conditional formatting, we will see how to combine cell information using an ampersand. Okay, let's say you have split up the first name and the last name into two different columns, and now this column is gone. You want the first name and the last name to be in the single column again. You're not going to copy paste each and every name and then paste them together. It'll be a very cumbersome task. And also, you can't just copy this, paste this here, and copy this again, paste it here. It won't happen. You have to go to this, copy this, paste it here, and go here, copy this. Can't just paste directly, put space, then paste it here. It'll be very, very, very long. And imagine doing that for hundreds of rows. So, better than that, we have an option here that Excel gives us. So, what do is we go to the column that we want our two columns information to be in one. We put equals to, I want B3, and we put ampersand. Then we need space, ampersand again, and then C3. So I put enter, and there you go. You have it. Both the first name and the last name combined, and using autofill, we can't select these two rows together because the first one we did not use the ampersand function. So we'll just select the second one and use autofill. There you go. There you have all the first names and the last names together again. Let's see what do we have next. Next up, we have adding checkboxes. Suppose you want to make a list, and you want certain items to be ticked off. So we have the option of adding checkboxes here. You just need to go to the developer option. Also, one more thing, the developer option might not be visible to some versions of Excel. So what you need to do is just click on this arrowhead and see more commands. Here you have the option to customize the ribbon. Sometimes some of these options are ticked off and they're not visible on the main Excel page. So you can just come here and tick these off so that you have it on your main Excel page. So back to our checkbox, we'll go to developer, and here we have insert. In insert, we have a lot of form controls. Here you can see we have the checkbox. So we'll go ahead and add our checkbox here. As you can see, it is added here, and whatever you type, let's say I'm making a grocery list. I need to buy bananas, and there you go. I have added banana to my grocery list, and again I want to add another checkbox. There I have it. I want to add apple, and there you go. I have two items in my grocery list. I can tick them off and again uncheck it. This is how the checkbox works. After adding checkboxes, we have hyperlink a cell to a website. Okay, let's see how to add hyperlink in our Excel sheet. All you have to do is go to insert, and here you will see this option. This is the hyperlink option. Click on this and let's say zoom. We have a link to this. Just click on OK. It will be added. Let's try to do this once again. Let's say Camtasia, and I add it here. So this is how you add hyperlinks. When you click on it, it will show you a warning message, but if you continue it anyways, this is where you lead to. The folder will open. So this is how the hyperlink option works. Next up, we have adding drop-down menus. Okay, so for drop-down menus, let's say I have a column here that has the lab partner title. So every student here gets to choose their lab partner. So we will provide them with the drop-down menu that will contain the list of all the students. So first we need to select which cells we need the drop-down menu to be in. After selecting those cells, we'll just go to data, and here we have data validation. Click here. In settings, we'll select a list, and for source, we will select the student list. This is done. We'll put the input message, select your lab partner, and error alert will be please try again. Okay, so every cell that you select, you will see you have a drop down menu here, and you can select. We go here, let's select this. This is how the drop down menu works, and that's it for this video. Thank you.
Just a quick info, guys. If you are looking for data analytics course, then we have a good news for you. Intellipaat is providing an advanced certification in data analytics for business with IIT Madras. The course is of very high quality and very cost effective. The course link is given in the description below.